Good morning, everyone. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible well enough. And I can see a lot of people already joined for this our Microsoft Azure tutorial series, where this is a tutorial series for all the beginners who wanted to learn Microsoft Azure Cloud. Great. Good to see you, Vijay. Good morning. Good morning, Manoj. Good morning, Ashish. So a lot of folks are still joining in. So let's give them some time. So meanwhile, let's when till others are joining, let's cover up a small summary of what we have done so far. So far we talked about what is a cloud computing. So cloud computing, it's something where we go ahead and get all our services on the internet. So when I say we get all those services over the cloud or over the network, is like end of the day all this will be available somewhere into the data centers, but those data centers or those uh, servers are not visible to us. Okay. And but we can access them by paying a small amount. It could be a pay as you go model, where let's say you need a hard disk or a storage service, so you just pay for a storage service and you get it. For example, you use a Google Drive, right? So that Google Drive is nothing but your storage service over the cloud. You can have a different types of a service. It could be an IaaS, it could be PaaS, it could be SaaS. So IaaS is like infrastructure as a service. So whenever let's say for example, you need an entire infrastructure on your own, so you use a infrastructure as a service. Okay. Otherwise you will use a platform or a SaaS. So again, in this session, we are going to anyways talk about our next topic, which is logic app. So here we were going to see how we can create a logic app, how we can call it, etc. And then we talk about few more topics. If you are joining this first time ever, so I would highly recommend go ahead and start watching from our session number one, because this is a sixth session in the series. So we have done cover up few things. So if you want to start it from the scratch, start from the session one. You might find link somewhere here and there on this portal, I don't know. So get it, and or else I'll put down under the description box so that you can get it from the description box below. Okay. So yeah, that's that's a good summary. Okay, Jayant, Deepak, your recording are very helpful for the preparation of AZ 900 exam. Thank you so much, Jayant. The idea is to give all this knowledge free, at least help someone to get on board onto the cloud and start their cloud journey. So I think that is the part of this mission and goal of this mission, to help everyone to get on board for this cloud journey. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Meanwhile, others are joining, and then we'll quickly start soon. Uh, DHFT. I don't know what's your name, but I assume this should not be your name. Okay. Hi Deepak, you write a code and set that code in cloud. So we definitely use some server for load or set the data into the cloud. But you set a cloud as a serverless. Can you explain detail? So I think he's talking about our last session where I talked about the Azure fundamental. So at the beginner level, when somebody think about the serverless, it sounds a little crazy how the serverless is. So basically, we just put down the code, okay, in the Azure function, and we give it to the cloud, and we say that it's your problem on what server, what is the operating system, what is the RAM, what is the CPU, on which machine you are going to execute. We don't care. We just care about it. You go ahead and you just run this, our piece of a code. Okay. So that's what a serverless meaning is. End of the day, it's something which is going on the server only. But for us as a developer, for us as a customer of the cloud, we don't care about the server, and that's why this kind of a service is called as serverless service. Okay, otherwise in general you take a server and then you deploy an application, etc. So but in the Azure function cases you are not doing so. Okay, so that's why it is called as a serverless mechanism. Akshay, what is the prerequisite for Azure certification for data engineer? If you are planning for an Azure data engineer, guys, uh, a certification requirement is like DP203 is one of the certification which is there for the Azure data engineer. But I recommend before going to the any certification, it's important to learn the practical aspect of it. See, these certification can only help you to get the job call or get the interview call, but to get the offer, you need to know the basics or the practical part of it. So focus more on that. I mean, the aim should be is like first you cover up all the real world knowledge, try out some hands on this technology, and then go with the certification. Because I mean that should be the way. People go other way around. They go and jump and do the certification, and then they will start looking for jobs, and then they end up with saying that okay, we are not getting any jobs, or this is a problem. So ideally that should not be the strategy. Strategy should be is to use first the practical knowledge, and then to validate your knowledge or to get the credential for this knowledge, go ahead and do the certification. Hi Deep. So Naveen is asking, hi Deepak, what is Azure Portal Preview? Forget about it for now. We don't need it. Okay, I'll talk when it is needed. Okay. Uh, So, meanwhile, anyone who is interested in doing the Azure data engineering, so I am running a one program where I'm going to teach data engineering from start to the end. So, you all can come and join that. So, that's a 3 month program. So, you can come down and join it. Let me just quickly go ahead and give you the URLs for that. So if you are seeing, okay, probably you're not seeing my screen yet. Let me just share my screen as well. So probably after that you will be able to see. So let me sharing the screen. Done. Okay. So now if you go down here, and so this could be the URL if you want to go ahead and want to enroll for the Mission 100 Azure Data Engineer program. So there are almost very few seats left now because it's filling very fast. So hardly few seats left. So if you want to be part of this data engineering course, please come forward and be a part of it. Here you get entire data engineering technology get covered. Data factory, Databricks, PySpark, Spark, storage account, uh, then your key vaults. So many things are there, which is all covered. And lastly, we cover the two projects as well, the real world projects. So if you are like thinking how you can put a experience in your resume, so you can use those two project as well, and put down that resume in your put down that project under your resume, and then you can showcase some of the experience as well. So go down to this ade.azurelab.com and enroll for this course. Okay, back to the business what we were doing. I think we have little less participants today, around 60 plus I can see at the moment. But anyways, let's start our journey. So let me quickly start. Okay, so till yesterday we were talking about the Azure functions. Okay, so let me come down here on this chart and draw. So we talked about the Azure functions. Okay, one minute please. Let me just change this as well so that it will be easy for all of you. Yeah. So now back here. So we talked about yesterday Azure functions, although I just run it little fast. So Azure function was one of the way to create the use the serverless technology. Okay, so Azure function was a service. Similarly, there's one more service called as a logic app. Now again, this is a pretty popular service in the Azure. Logic app is used to create the workflows. Okay, so let's say for example you want to create a step by step flow, and uh, you're not from a programming background, and you think that programming is, I don't know how to write a code. So logic app is something where you can do everything drag and drop. Okay, so even whatever be the conditions you have to put, you can put all those conditions in the logic app even without writing the code. So you can do just some configuration, basic configuration, and you will be able to go ahead and use this logic app. So if you have a this workflow created, you remember, like maybe in your college time you created a workflow or a chart, like a sequencing chart kind of thing. So if you have that kind of even that kind of a logical diagram, if you have created, then you don't have to write a code. You go to the logic app and you can create an entire workflow. Okay, so rather than saying everything, let's go down directly to the Azure portal, and there we go ahead and check what exactly this uh, Azure Logic app works. Okay, coming back on this side, just I need to hide the current comments so that everybody can see it well. If you have any questions, please put down or wait for it. As soon as I'll finish this up, and then towards the end of the session, I'll take all those questions. Okay, so let's come forward. Go to this our portal. So when you go to the Azure portal account, you can just search on under this Logic Apps. So you will see this Logic Apps account. So now this is the first time we are going to use a Logic app. So for that, what we need to do is we need to add some Logic app account. You can see that I already have a two account, but again, this I already created earlier, so it was there. But probably when you go and you see on your account, you might not find these two. So let's create a Logic app. See how you can create a Logic app. So just click on add. Once you click on add, like always, it will go and it will ask you what is the subscription. So subscription is this, is my subscription. Again, after the subscription, it will ask us what is the resource group. So we know that resource group is nothing but a logical grouping of our resources. So that is our resource group. Now coming to the logic app name, let's give us some logic app name. So maybe let's give, I'll give in Azure free fundamental beginners tutorial. Okay, so I just type in some LG. Okay, and then it asked me to choose the reason. So in the Azure, where exactly this service get installed, you need to select. So let's keep the East US region. That is fine. Now here is to standard best for this enterprise level serverless, or you can choose this consumption best for entry level, pay only as much as your workload runs. So if you are creating this for your practice purpose, don't forget to choose this consumption model. So this consumption model says that you will get charged based on per use. Okay, again, do remember the fact that Logic app is one of the costly service in the Azure. So try to avoid it as far as possible, because cost is a little high. Okay, so let's rest all keep as it is. We have not done anything magical here. We just give all this basic information, and then we just say review plus create, and this will going to create a one Logic app for us. And then once our Logic app get created, what we going to do is we can go and create different workflows inside it. Okay, it will take a few seconds, maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then this Logic app will become ready. So you can see that now I got a deployment success message, and it's asking me go to the resources. So let's go down to the resource. Now this is our logic app account. Here you can see, mm, go to the resources. So here is my logic app account. Okay, this is doing something magical. Let's wait. It's directly opening that. That's fine. I don't want this. Okay. So this is my logic app account, and inside it, on the left hand side, you see this important thing: logic app designer or logic app code view. Okay, so we need a logic app designer. Either you click on this, or if you scroll down here, you see edit in designer. Okay, so let's just click on this open designer. So open designer is nothing but here you go ahead and you design your logic app workflow. Okay, so this is something YouTube video they have given it a basic tutorial where anyone who is a beginner in the Azure, so they can use this tutorial as a start to understand what is this Azure Logic app is all about. Okay, so let's come down to it. See, when you create any workflow, okay, there has to be one starting point. Okay, so that starting point is nothing but a your trigger. Okay, so we call it as a trigger here. So we'll say it, we how we will start when somebody hit a request, or when a recurrence, when a specific time arrive, or maybe when somebody posted a tweet, we are reading that tweet. Okay, Elon Musk has posted this tweet. Now as soon as he posted some tweet, I have to apply something. Okay, so that could be the trigger. Or maybe when you receive an email, then you want to take some action. So it depends what is your trigger, so you can decide. There are variety of triggers out there, so these are a few common one. So let's pick this one: when a http request is received. Okay, so like re- http request means like when somebody hit a url. Okay, so that is nothing but a url. So we'll say that okay, when somebody hit a URL, probably what he will do in that URL. Uh, so you use this use payload to generate a schema. So let's say when somebody hit a URL, what it will do? It will pass two things to us: email ID. Okay. So what is the email ID they have to pass? And let's say they will pass a email ID to whom this email need to be passed. Okay. And then they will pass the message as well. Okay, so message, and then I'll pass thank you. Okay, so this could be my message, which I want to pass to this um, logic app workflow. So like whenever somebody hit a URL or a REST API or a HTTP API, so he will pass this message, or that is called as your sample message or some message they will pass. Okay, so we give to the logic app and say that okay, when somebody hit this URL, he probably going to pass a message like that which I just added. So according to based on that message, what this um, logic app do is schema. Okay, so understand that there will be something come email ID which is of a type string. There's something comes like a message which is also of a string type. Okay, so accordingly it will create the schema. You don't need to know what is the schema and all about. You use this option, use sample payload to generate a schema. So we use this, we pass our sample message, and automatically it will generate it. So we don't care. Okay, the good thing with the Microsoft Azure is that many of the services is like it's pretty easy to use. Okay, so we got this. Now the moment this URL received, what you have to do, so that is nothing but your new step. So that is your next step which you need to apply. So next step is what? Whenever somebody hit this URL, what I need to do, let's say I want to send an email. Okay, so if I want to send an email, I can use this option. There are variety of options. Okay, so you can do anything. I mean, literally you can do anything. So maybe you can send a tweet, you can post on the Facebook, you can post on somewhere else, you can run any function, you can hit the database. So you can do anything as soon as this step or this trigger arrived. So there are a lot of integration given. So this logic app is integrated with a huge number of services. So you can create any kind of a workflow. Like, let's say for example, step one could be is like, somebody hit a URL, I call a one Azure function. Then I make an entry into the database. Then I need to, let's say for example, need to check whether the message is yes or no. If it is yes, then I have to call to send an email, etc. So you can do all that workflow creation you can do on this logic app. Okay, the idea here is to just showcase you the basic, and then based on the requirement you can add it. But you can see that I'm not writing a single line of code yet. Okay, so everything I'm doing in drag and drop. Okay, so like for example, if you want to add a control statement, like how, let's say you want to see, you want to add a condition. So maybe when message received, you want to check if else, so you use this condition. If you want to iterate something, so you use this for each. Okay, you, if you want to use a switch case, you can use this. If you want to use an until, you can use this. And nothing, you don't have to write a code, and automatically it will do it for you. So let's say if I say this condition, so now you see graph is coming automatically. So this you put a condition, this you will do in the true case, this you will do in the false case. So everything is coming automatically. So I'm just deleting it for now, because we don't want to add any condition. In the next step, I just want to send an email. So let's say for example, I go to the outlook.com, and there I say, whenever this somebody hit this URL, what I want to do is I want to send an email. So I choose this option, send an email. Okay, so now this will open up. It will ask me to sign in, because it need to know from where you need to send an email. So let me just sign in. Okay, so it is using my account. So it is redirecting. It is, I already signed on this portal, I mean on this machine. So it will pick up my account. So let's say I use this my email ID, and it will verify that email ID. It is asking that, okay, this it is asking permission from my email ID. So I give an permission, saying that okay, allow logic app to send an email. So now this has been connected. So now you can see that now whatever message I want to send, I can send it. Okay, so now even I want to make a dynamic, I don't want to give a specific email address, so I can click on this add a dynamic content. So I click on this. There you will see this. Okay, so I'll say expression. Okay, so there are many things which you can add. So dynamic content, see more. So we, you see, when we creating this first the request, we were saying that in that we were passing two things, email ID and message. So here you can see that it is automatically saying email ID and message. So I'm saying pick the email ID from this. Okay, so now to whom I want to send the email ID which is coming from this message, and what message I want to pass. So in the body thing, I will pass the same message, the message which I get from the our request. So now this is automatically dynamically happening. Now if I pass my email ID, the mail will go to my email ID. If I give your email ID, the mail will go to your email ID. And let's say welcome from logic app, you can configure anything. I'm just giving a very basic example. Okay, even if you're not able to understand it at the first time, it's completely fine. My idea of this entire series is not to just put you on the theory. See, if you are looking for AZ 900 certification, AZ 900 fundamental, Azure fundamental certification, then you don't need to know how to run this logic app. You just need to know theory. AZ 900 certification exam is all about the theory aspect of it. There is nothing practical come in that certification exam. But again, said, doing certification with just theory does not make sense. So you should know how the things happen in the real world. Okay, at least you know at the basic level. Okay, so my idea is to showcase all this practically. Okay, again, if AZ 900, I repeat, if AZ 900 certification Azure fundamental exam is your goal, you want to pass this exam, then you don't need to know this logic app practical aspect. Okay, again back to the thing. So we got a request and we put that our message should send like this, and you say okay, now this is say done. So our logic app creation has been done. Now we can just run a trigger. Okay, so now you see when you go down here automatically a URL come. Okay, so this is my URL. If I hit this URL through any REST API, so let's say for example I come down here and say I say REST API. um mm, there's a there are few tools, REST API post method tool. Okay, online API testing. So there is some tools out there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just put my URL here, let's say, and I use a message as post. Okay, and this contains, okay, one minute please guys, let me just put this generate code. No, and then here I put it like this. So email ID, how I've given it, I give it like this, I guess. So one minute, we are just passing to whom I want to send at hotmail.com, and then I say message testing successful. So don't worry, what I am doing, I'll explain. Don't worry. Let me just first hit send and then try. Okay. If all goes fine, if all this message thing I have written it correctly, this should go and send us an email. Deepak Goyal 11 at hotmail.com. So come down here, email IDs thing. So this should be pretty right. I should have get an email. Let's come down here. Let's refresh. Okay, not received yet. No worries. Let's go down. Okay, see, the idea is this is my post request. Let's test it here itself. Run a trigger, run with the payload. Okay, so you can test here itself. Use this online tool which I am very frequently use. No need to use this as well. If you are not comfortable, you can just test here itself. Okay, so this will be your URL, this will be a post method, and this will be your message. Okay, so message you will pass like this, email ID, then you will, I'm sorry, email ID, you will pass an email ID to whomsoever you want to send an email. Let's say I want to send it to myself. I use my email ID, and this is the message I want to pass. I'll say message, and this message is nothing but thank you for choosing the logic app tester, and say run. If all goes fine, if I've done everything correctly, so ideally I should go ahead and got this email. So there is something problem is there, ideally it should not be there. Give me a second, let's see. Okay, maybe it's going in the junk. No, it's not going in the junk. Yeah, so you can see that we got an email. It was little delayed, but that's fine. So you can see I got it email. So Deepak Goel, thank you for choosing this Logic App tester. So that's what we have sent it. So now you can see that basically we able to create our Logic App workflow. So now what how we going to exactly going to do in the real world is you create a Logic App. Okay, and maybe let's say you running an Azure data factory, for example. Okay, so maybe you are running some pipeline. Okay, so in your data pipeline what happen if some errors comes, so as soon as an error come, From there you can go down and hit this URL, and the moment this URL somebody will hit, so automatically from there you can pass on the error message, and this will send an email to a specific person with that specific error message. So that's how you can integrate so many things together. See, there are different pieces. Okay, so when you make a big solution in an enterprise level or in a project level, so you integrate couple of things. So logic app could be integrate there as well. Maybe let's say for example, if you have this URL, maybe you have a Java code, or maybe you have a .NET code or an Android code. So as soon as when any user login, okay, or sign up, so as soon as he sign up it in the Java code, somebody can call this post URL. Okay, so in that Java code, somebody when write this URL, calling this URL and passing this message, then automatically that flow will come to the Logic app. Logic app will send an email. So here you can see that even I haven't write a single line of code, but still I'm able to create a workflow. When a request receive, automatically an email goes. Maybe what you can do, you can put a next level here as well. So you can add a condition here. Add a condition. Okay, now condition, what condition you can add? You can add a control. Okay, and you might say that, okay, if the message I am receiving, if that message is basically which I am receiving here is equal to you put a condition saying that message equals, there is a function called as equals, and then you put say, okay, equal if my message is equal to success. Okay, then do something. If it is false, or if it is not a success, do something else. So that's how even a condition you can also put in. So that's, so many things is possible, but again you need to know whether you want to use this logic app or not. Basically logic app is more frequently used when you are a cloud developer. Okay, but little less frequently used when you are a data engineer. Okay, so depends. See, in Azure fundamental exam or Azure beginner level exam, it is basically a kind of a engineering first year. So what happens in your engineering first year? So in the engineering first year, they try to teach you everything. They try to talk about the civil, they try to talk about the mechanical stream, they talk about the electronics, they talk about the IT. They make you aware of everything. The same thing is with the our Azure AZ 900 fundamental exam as well. So in this Azure fundamental exam, this also happens the same thing. They talk about all the services. They talk about the machine learning service. They will talk about the data related service. They will highlight at high level. They talk about the um, networking. At high level they talk about the your security. So they give you an overall view, and they will test you on this exam, that you have an overall idea. And then from this onwards, as your fundamental onwards, you go ahead and use whatever is important or whatever is relevant to your role. Okay, so don't worry if you don't know all this much and you think this also is a little tough. Don't worry about it. If your role does not need this, it's completely fine. You don't need to learn each and everything in the detail. In Azure, in Microsoft Azure, we have more than 100 or 150 plus services. Okay, even I personally don't know more than 15, 20, I guess so. So you don't need to know each and every service available into the cloud. Okay, you only need to know which is relevant to your profile. Okay, and I feel for any profile, hardly 10, 15 services are more than enough which somebody need to know. Okay, so don't worry about it that you need to know each and everything into the cloud is a very very huge thing. Okay, so you don't need to master of each and everything. Okay, aware of a basically at a high level about something, and then you need to master few things only. Okay, so that is basically our Azure logic app. I just quickly repeat what we have done. So I'll say cancel, I'll say discard. Okay, okay. So whatever we have done, we have just added a HTTP request as a trigger, and whatever the it has coming two things, email ID and message, and I pass on this to my mail, and whatever email ID pass on, I pass it to the two, and whatever the message is coming, I pass it to the body, and then I simply save this. So this my logic app is ready. If I want to test at any point, I can just run this trigger and say run with payload. So in the payload, I will send a sample message, and it will going to test on that sample message. Okay, and that's how you can test it. And then later on, once this testing is done, your logic app is ready. So if I can share you this URL with you, and I you hit this URL and pass this information, I will start getting in emails. Okay, so that's how this is going to work. So this is only the one aspect, like you get a request and you want to pass something, email something, or whatever you want to do, you can do it. Idea of this logic app is this graphical interface, and you can always add on the workflow. So now you can see that after sending an email also, if you want to take any other step, you take that step, which one you want to pick it, and then accordingly test it. So that's how you can keep on making a workflow logically here in the in the logic app. Okay, so that is the two things in we have under the serverless technology. Either it could be your Azure function, and either it could be a logic app. Now why logic app is also um, a serverless? Because you see, somebody is sending API request, somebody is sending an email, it is checking whether it is true false, etc. So all this, eventually somebody has to do some computation, right? But we are not using any computation power by defining any server. So automatically all this for uh, the computation power for all this entire workflow is automatically given by the Azure for you. So to you it look like it's a serverless, you have not created any server, you have not done any deployment, and still it is working under the hood. So that's why this is also termed as a serverless technology. But again, it needs computation power, which is automatically given by the Azure under the hood. Okay, so back to the our next topic for the discussion, and the next topic is nothing but an Azure virtual networking. So when you create anything into the Azure, like virtual machine, you need the virtual networking or Azure virtual networking. So what is this Azure virtual networking is all about? So let's go down here and let's see. Let's say for example, I use this. So you created a, this is Azure cloud. Okay, now this is Azure cloud. Now in the Azure cloud, you created a one virtual machine. So this is my virtual machine. If you don't know how to create a virtual machine, go back to, I think, our session number 2. There I have shown you how to start and creating your Azure virtual machine as a beginner. Okay, so there we have showcased that. So if you have not watched that session so far, go back and see that as well. Okay, so in this Azure virtual machine, when we created an Azure virtual machine, you got a one machine into the cloud. Now, end of the day, what you want? Maybe you are outside, right? This is your laptop. You carrying your laptop, and from your laptop, you want to connect to this uh, virtual machine, right? So, if you want to create a connect, let's say for example, I give you one laptop, okay, and I'll say take this laptop and go to the Himalayas, okay, to the mountain. Now, if you go and kept the laptop there and come back, will you able to connect to that laptop? Certainly not possible. You can only connect to that laptop if that laptop has some internet, right? So you need some network. It has to be into a one network from where somebody else can connect. So similarly, when you create a your virtual machine, and automatically a virtual network has been created, and your machine get allocated under that network. Okay, so you can think of it, there is a one network got created, and this network is nothing but your VNet, that is virtual network. Okay, now this network allows the communication over the internet. So if this virtual network was not there, you probably not able to make a connection, right? So you need this virtual network for many reasons. First of all is like for internet communication. So if you see this second, this point number 2, which is nothing but this, I'm sorry, this one. So you need, isolation is one thing, I'm sorry, this mouse is tough. Okay, so internet communication. So end of the day, whatever the resource you create, that needs to communicate over internet. So for that they need a network, and by default Azure gives you that virtual network. One disclosure I want to say, if you are hearing all this networking thing first time, you don't need to worry about it all, because all this is like just an high level knowledge you need to know. As I said, Azure Fundamental Exam is taking care of all those mm, basic things. So you need to know only at a high level. This virtual networking and everything makes sense to you or important to you only and only when you feel that you want to become an Azure administrator or an Azure infrastructure guy. So if you want to get into the infrastructure or administration kind of stuff, then only this is important. Otherwise, this is okay. Just need to know at a very high level, and it's completely fine. Because if you planning to become a data engineer, then this is not that relevant. Only at a high level idea is good. You don't need to master it again. Okay, but good to know. It's a basic knowledge. Okay, so this is basically your VNet. Okay, so for example, let's say for example, if I go down here. Okay, so let's say for example, uh, this is your cloud. Okay, you created one machine. Okay, now there are few more machine as well. Okay, there are, you don't create just one machine, you created three machine, and all these three machine also need to talk to each other. So then they also, you can put them all under a one common VNet. Okay, so one common VNet is like one common network. For example, you create an your college library uh, network. Okay, so what happens is, you put down in a college library there are three laptops, sorry, three machines out there, and these three machines need to talk to each other or connected. So you want to do networking between these three machines. So how you can do it, you create all those LAN cable and make a connection, right? Similarly, when you get a multiple machine into the cloud, and so automatically you can put it under the VNet. Okay, yeah, under the common virtual network, and then all these three will automatically get connected. So automatically you get this networking thing as well. So to you it look like nothing, but under the hood they have, might be all those cable got connected and they have that internal connectivity is there. So maybe from one machine you want to pass to something else to the second machine internally. So then that could be possible if all are belongs to a one common virtual network. So point number one was like, you need, for you need virtual network for what? Internet communication. Okay, you need for an internal communication as well, because not internet but internally communication as well. Okay, third thing is like, you might need for isolation. So when I say isolation, it means that, assume it, uh, this is Azure cloud, right? In this cloud you are not only the one who is using the Azure cloud. There are many folks who are using the Azure cloud. Let's say for example, this is company 1. Okay, and this is company 2. Okay, now this company 1 and company 2 are competitor. Okay, now what happen is, you take a one machine onto the cloud, and he also take a one another machine into the cloud. Now I will say, you might be think that, okay, he is my competitor but his machine is also into the cloud. So can I access his machine? It's fairly possible, right? So to avoid any such thing, you can use again a vnet, because this machine is in your vnet, this machine is in his vnet. So at the vnet level, you can set the rules. Okay, from which ip address the connections allow, from which ip address connection not allowed, etc, etc. So this vnet is kind of a boundary, okay, network boundary which can be created. Okay, and that's why it provides you the isolation as well. Okay, so that's give you isolation, how your network or your resources get isolated from the world or from the others. Okay, so you can set a boundary and fix a boundary that nobody else outside your thing can go and use them. So that is few thing about the virtual network. Now let's, as always, let's go down to the portal.azure.com and see how you can create this virtual network as well. Okay, again, for the Microsoft Azure Fundamental AZ 900 exam, this is not important. That how you need to know how to create this virtual network, but it's important from the practical aspect that you should know how things works. Okay, so creating for a virtual network, you go down here to the virtual, and there you see virtual networks option. So this is the virtual networks. Automatically there are so many virtual network has been created. Even when you don't create anything on your own, automatically a few virtual network get created. For example, you can see that this Azure fundamental free session, so this is something a virtual network has been created when we had created our first virtual machine. Okay, so that time automatically it got created. So let's say, let's this time create a manually and see how this works. So let's click on create. Now, as always, for creating any resource into the Microsoft Azure, you always been asked to select the subscription. So let's select the subscription, and under the resource group, you always select anything because you want to logically put down. So let's say I selected this resource group, and then create a my virtual network name. So let's say give an Azure fundamental practice. Okay, VNet. Okay, now and choose any region, so that is fine. Now next thing is you can give an ip addresses. Okay, so you can define what is the ip address range for this network. Even you can define the subnet. Again, ip address and subnet thing is little networking thing. If you know, that's good enough. If you don't know, it's completely fine, because you might not be aiming for an infrastructure or the cloud administrator. So if you are not aiming for that, it's completely fine. So all this networking thing is related to the networking guys. So if you are not planning that, that's okay, you can leave it default. Go to the security. Okay, so you can set some firewalls, etc, etc, and then tags are optional, and you say review plus create. So you have created a one virtual network of your own, and you can define the address spaces there. So let's go and create. So our virtual network got created, a boundary we have created. Now which resource we want to put under this boundary, it's up to us. Okay, so let's say for example, this got created. Go to the resource. So this is my virtual network which I have created. Okay, so under here you can go to this address spaces. You see whatever be the ranges you have given, any subnet and etc, you all see here. uh, this is connected devices. So this is showing like who are got connected to this virtual network, or who are a part of this virtual network. Okay, so you can see that. Even if you go down there, you will see the virtual network peering as well. So well, this is the virtual network peering. So peering is like, uh, anyways we'll discuss this little later on as well, that whenever a two virtual network want to talk to each other. So let's say for example, we have you have a one office in US. So for that US office, you create a one virtual network, and you call it as this US location. Similarly, you have another office in the India. Okay, and for that India location, you created another virtual network. Now this virtual network, one and two has to talk to each other. So then that could be done through a virtual network peering. Okay, so you peering the virtual network. So that can be done through virtual network peering, and you can see that option here. Okay, peering. Anyways, we'll talk about it little more. Okay, so that is the my virtual network. Let me copy the name. Okay, now let's go down to the home and try to create a one virtual machine again. Okay, we're not going to exactly create a virtual machine, but I want to show you something. So let me create an virtual machine. Now when I am creating this virtual machine this time, now leave other facts. The important thing is, okay, I think I should be asked here itself. Okay, so let me just give something names. Azure fundamental free session, I give some dummy name. Okay, and then, okay, I'll leave as it is. All this is as it is. I go to the next. I go to the networking. So automatically I go to the networking. Okay, now once I go to the networking, here you see this. In this virtual network, you can choose the network which we have created. Okay, so this is the network which I have created, Azure fundamental practice suite. Now this, uh, if I created a virtual machine now, that virtual machine will now go to under this virtual network which we have created. So here you get an option. See, in last time when we have created our virtual machine here, we have not given anything, so by default it created one for us. Okay, but this time we already have a one virtual network, and I want to ensure that this machine lies under this virtual network only. So I can choose the virtual network from here, and I can set the subnet and IP addresses range as well. Okay, so that's how you can create a virtual network, and you can reuse them while you create your resources like virtual machines and all. Again guys, this all is not important from the beginner level, but I mean for your Azure fundamental AZ 900 certification exam, this AZ 900 only need a theory, but I am again showing all this practical because you get an idea how things work. This networking and all is not related to any data engineer, any cloud developer thing. This is only and only related to the cloud administrators, cloud infrastructures guys, or little bit about a security guy who get into some security, cloud security and all. So if you are not planning for that roles for yourself, then it's completely fine. You don't need to master it. You don't need to too much worried about it. You just need to know at a very high level, this is how this things works. Okay, and then that is good enough. So whenever things come which is important from a data engineer or a your cloud developer, I'll keep on saying that. Okay, but for this service, this is specific for the networking guys. The logic app which we have seen earlier was little more for the cloud developer plus little bit for a data engineer. Okay, that was a mixture, but this service is specifically for network and admin guys. Okay, so that's the thing I want to talk about, this networking thing. Similarly, this Azure virtual networking also helps you to route the traffic, filter the traffic. Anyways, about all this, we'll talk about in the tomorrow's thing. So I don't want to talk about it for now, at least. So I'm just trying to stop it here itself because last time we haven't discussed about all the questions. So I know a lot of folks have questions, and again, a lot of people is like talking to me and asking me which stream I should go and choose, and will cloud only help me? So guys, cloud only or Azure fundamental only will not help you. You need one extra or the main skill. So your one main skill could be, there could be many things, but it could be a cloud developer role where you can be a C++, Java, .NET, Android, software testing, maybe, etc. You can have n number of profiles. Okay, so all this could come under a cloud developer or cloud practitioner roles. Then you can become a data engineer. For data engineering, few extra services come. You can become a cloud data scientist, or you can become a cloud DevOps, or you can become a cloud security guy. So these are the basic roles which you can go and take it up. Again, I repeat, if you think that just doing a AZ 900 certification exam or a basic cloud Azure fundamental uh, will help you, or just knowing what is a cloud computing, uh, what are the different types of cloud, etc., the basic knowledge will help you to get some job, it's wrong. Okay, it's not correct, it's a wrong expectation. You need to keep the right expectations only. You need to know at least one main skill. Okay, so either you know development, maybe C++, Java, .NET, Android, etc., etc., or you want to learn a new technology like data engineering one, data scientist one, or a DevOps thing. So use that, but don't rely only and only on the just a basic cloud. It will not going to help you. I repeat, I mean, I daily get a 10, 20 messages where people just coming like, I'm a non-IT background and I just done a easy 900, I'm not getting a job. So this will going to happen because you don't have a main skill set. Okay, if you look at it carefully, what cloud is giving to you, cloud is only giving to you just a set of resources, right? Okay, it is like just giving you computer, it's just giving you hard disk, that's kind of a stuff it is giving. But what to do with that is your knowledge, your skills. Same thing is like in the office you get a laptop, right? But on this laptop, office laptop, what you going to do? You will write a Java code, you will write a data engineering thing, you write a data science thing. So you need that skill, right? So that skill is needed. Without that, cloud knowledge is not important. Okay, so that is your bread and butter, your main skill. So please build that skill and add cloud along with it. Okay, don't only and only rely onto the cloud to get some job. That is a false expectation. I tried to create a few, so that's why I just type in all this, the basic thing which you're seeing on my screen. You can choose anything, whatever you like, as per your need. I just try to give what is the earning potential, what is the job opportunity out there, and what could be the prerequisite as well. So I just put it out. If whatever you feel is your area, which you feel like needed to be done or makes sense for you, choose accordingly, and basically then you can take up the next path after this course. Okay, so don't stop only on this course, on this Azure fundamental. If you don't know any other stuff, please go out and add it. If you just want only and only to become a data engineer, sorry, just a developer, and you already know any one skill, that is completely fine. Maybe let's say you are a tester and you want to continue in the testing only, then just knowing an AZ 900 or this basic stuff is good enough. Okay, but you want to excel your career, you want to increase your package, or you feel that you want to get into the new technology, make a more relevant addition to your career, then think about adding something extra skills. Okay, so choose as per your thing. If you want to become a data engineer, I am running a course where I help some anyone who is coming from a very beginner level, and I'll help them to learn all those technology which is needed to become a data engineer, and help them to get through this data engineering job. So if you want to become a data engineer, specifically these many things needed. Okay, so you need to know, basically data factory is one of the most important skill, and the second most important skill is this, your Spark, PySpark, or Databricks. Then you need to know Synapse, Keyword, storage account, Logic apps, and few more other things. It could be your another stuff like Snowflake, it could be Fivetran. There are few different tools probably that could help you. Okay, so all these things will make you a good data engineer. So if you want to trying to get into the data engineering, just take a snapshot of these these things which you are seeing on the screen, this could be a good roadmap for your data engineer. You need to cover up all this. As simple as that. If you able to cover it up with the practical aspect of it, you will be able to become a good data engineer. It's not necessary to pick any specific course. If you can learn all these things on your own, you can become a good data engineer. Okay, it's your choice how you want to learn. If you something who are a self learner, complete all this technology on your own, you are ready. If you think you need some expert as well, you need some experienced folks who has really worked on this data engineering and teach you, then I am running a one course which is, you can come down and join my mission 100 program, and there I am teaching all this along with the practical aspect, the way you have seen, the way we are running all this course, right? I'll I'll talk about a concept, explain you, and then quickly go to the screen and show you everything practical. So that's the same concept, or the same format I follow for this entire 3 month long course. And if you want it to get into this and interested in, go down to this link which you are seeing on the screen and register yourself. There is some offer is also going on, early bird offer, so you can go and pick it up and start. So that's all I have for today's session. Let's open up for a questions. Anyone has any question, please put down all your questions. So I can see that Jayant had some question. Okay. Hi Deepak. One small doubt: when using Azure Logic app, when we have a multiple emails, how we can automate every time? I can type all the email IDs. It's time consuming. So you don't have to type in. See, you might make a list of those email and you pass it as a message. See, this is just a one, um, how would I say, there is just one aspect we see. Probably you could have a email list also get created in your email IDs, and you can just pass that email list name and automatically to all those folks the email will go. So maybe it could be like your support email list, right? So you can pass that. So that's completely possible. uh, I hope this has answered your question. Going to the next question, Salil is asking, is it possible to develop a simple games on the Logic app? Honestly, I never tried it, and I don't recommend as well, because Logic app is a costly. It's not about development. It is about whenever every time it gets run, you have to pay the charge, right? So think about that. In the cloud, the most important thing after knowing the skills is like how much it is costing you, because you develop a solution for your customers, right? And end of the day, we try to give the optimized solution in terms of a time as well as in terms of the cost. So cost is very important. Think about from the cost perspective as well. Logic app is a little costly, so no point in creating a game on it. At least it is basically meant for uh, orchestration, or which we call it as a workflow creation. Failure pipeline automatically restart the processor. I don't know what you're talking about. Amit, please specify your question more in a little better manner. S9 is talking about what are the timings for the Azure Data Engineering course. The timing is, this will become a Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours, and timing would be the same, 8 to 10 a.m. IST. Okay, and it's a 3 month duration. So 3 month is the duration. Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours, 8 to 10. Saturday 2 hours, Sunday 2 hours. Uday is asking, hi Deepak, I have enrolled to Azure Live Data Engineering course November batch, but I am in October group. Can you please add me to the November group so that we got all the latest update? Okay, I think Uday, just send out me your email ID. I don't know, I don't have any October batch to be honest. So I just run a one batch for 3 months. So another batch was like 3 months ago a batch only. So I don't know how this could happen. But send me your email ID, okay, and I will look into it, or reach out to me LinkedIn. And one more thing, guys, if you are not following me on the LinkedIn, go ahead and follow me on the LinkedIn. I share a lot of good content on the LinkedIn. Or even if you're not following this, or subscribe to this channel, please do subscribe, because sometimes you miss an update of the class, so you automatically get a notification if you subscribe. So please do subscribe this channel as well. Okay. Shubham is asking, I am in a career gap of 2 months. Will placement assistance be given in a paid program? See, the placement assistant, as I said, will be help you to make a prepare you as a part of the course, like helping you to uh, share your resume. Okay, help you to prepare your resume, uh, and I'll share your resume among my huge network over the LinkedIn. That's all I can do, but there is no guarantee. You need to understand the fact. Okay, it could be a help, but it could not be. It depends, like the requirement going on at that point, but from the recruiters and your profile matching with their profile. So something like that. I'll try to share everything from my own side, but again, there is no commitment that uh, you will get 100% job from my side. Okay, because I don't have any tie up that I directly train here and pass those folks directly to the company, and company will take everyone. But yeah, a lot of recruiters reach out to me because they are in need of a data engineer, they don't find it. So that's why I have a good connection. Probably they, if they like your profile, I'll share with them, and they will help to arrange some interviews for you. That's what can be done. Chandrasekhar, hi Deepak. As part of DP2CD, are you covering Scala or Python? This course is in the Python, because Python is a more popular. So make completely sense to go with the popular thing. So that is a PySpark we're going to use. Esna is saying thank you, thank you. I think a lot of people, Shriji Das, yeah, 8:15 to 9:45. I think on the portal it is written like that, but it will be more than that. Okay. Srijit, as it was mentioned, the links Saturday, Sunday, yeah. So it will be more than that. Don't worry. I always give much more. Even for this session, also it was timing was 8 to 9 only. But you can see that we are extending every day. So don't worry about it. I'm not hard on the time. Where we can the real time assignment to learn SQL and data engineering. You don't need to know, or you don't need to worry about the data engineering. For giving you the assignments is my problem. So I that course contain a lot of assignments. So you'll get it for everything for the practice. Sarab is asking, how can we figure out the cost? What is the cost for which thing you are talking about the cost? Okay, so be clear. Uh, then Ajit Yadav is asking, do you have any plan for Azure Data Scientist? Not at the moment, but if you are not following this guy, that is Saurabh Sahu on the LinkedIn, you must follow this guy, or even you can find on his my channel as well. He is taking the SQL bootcamp along with me. He is the one who is one of the best data scientist trainer, and he is a very senior data scientist. So you can follow him, and you he is running some program. So maybe he can help you for the data science thing. Srijit, okay, okay. Some anyone has any other question? If you feel like I missed your question, uh, please go down and type in the question again, please. Ashwati, Logic App and Power Automate seems to be similar. Both used to create workflows. Any difference as such? Logic App is very, very powerful, because the integration it provides is huge. Okay, so it supports so many integration. So I think that's why it is much, much more powerful than the your Power Apps. Okay. DHFD Power Python Basic is enough for learning database, and what type of model or course need to become a what type of model or course need to become a Azure Ranger like AZ900 use for learn about fundamental Azure. So what type of uh, DHFD, again your question is not very clear to me, but basic knowledge of a Python is needed. Even if you don't know the Python, it's completely fine. I will give you if you enroll for this course, I will give you a free Python course. You can watch it. Meanwhile, we are starting the class from 5th of November. Okay, so you can watch it and make yourself very little bit familiar with the Python. So Python is not extensive Python is needed, a very basic level of programming is needed, and that too we need after a 1.5 months, because initial 1 month we're going to talk about only the data factory. And even when you learn the Spark or database, Python basic knowledge is only needed. You don't need to know little deep or like that knowledge. Basic, if you know basic Python, even if you don't know the Python, still you can learn Databricks. It is as simple as that. Okay. So Python should not be the roadblock. Okay. So that's why don't put your energy on learning Python first and then come to data engineering. I would say start data engineering, side by side learn Python, because Python is not the roadblock. Okay. Shubham is asking, what are your thoughts on the career gap? Does 6 month gap reduces chances to get hired? See, this career gap is done, right? Shubham. Anyways, whatever you do in your career going forward, this 6 months you cannot get it back. So forget about it, and everything is possible in India. Okay, to fill this gap. So try out some jugaad, and it will get done. Even if you cannot do it, that's fine. It's understood. If you have a valid reason, it's completely fine. 6 months is not a long time, so it can be considered. Okay, can we choose DevOps as an extra skills? Samran, you can choose DevOps as a main skill. Okay, Azure is an add-on. Your main skill would be DevOps or data engineer or data science or development, whatever. That is your main skill, not extra skills. Ronak, if after 3 months course completion, if you have any doubt or need help in the hands-on, will there be any follow-up sessions after 3 months? Ronak, see, if you have a, my course will keep on continue. Don't worry. So once your batch finish, I'll take another batch. So if you have a problems, we can talk and take up in the next batch as well. So don't worry. I'm not running away from anywhere. Okay. So relax. Sarah Vasani, how can we figure out the cost in the starting for the service which we are going to use? There is a, so what you can do is on the, you search out, there is an Azure cost calculator is there. So you can go down to the cost calculator, you can put down the service which you are going to use, uh, and you can get to know what is the cost is it is coming. So you can do that. So there is a free cost calculator is there on the Azure. We will see it, don't worry. Srijit is asking, would you teach Azure DevOps as well later? Srijit, I wanted to teach DevOps as well, but the time. The problem is with the time. So time is only the constraint we have. I'll try to do something around it, anyways. So anyone has any other questions so far? Please, if I have not answered your question, you can put down again. It might got lost under the messages. So please come forward and ask. And if you are liking all the session which we are doing and you feel that I am putting a good effort and which is helping you, all of you, please guys go out and do a shout out. Follow me on the LinkedIn and tag me there on the LinkedIn. You can send out the recommendations, you can send out the endorsements, and please share within your group whoever wanted to learn the Azure fundamental from beginning or as a beginner. They can come to this channel and join along with you to learn. I'm also running a one SQL live bootcamp, so that is also available on this YouTube channel. You can go down and learn the SQL as well, completely free. There are 10-15 sessions out there, so that is a very uh, good explanation out there. So a lot of people is liking that. So if you want to learn SQL, also you can go and watch that. So do share among in your group who wants to learn all this. And if you have anyone who is looking for data engineering, and you might yourself or anyone in your group, please refer them to here as well, because I feel I'm running one of the best course in the industry and one of the most economical as well. So I can help them to become a data engineer and fill their uh, aspiration. So if you have any referrals, please, all those are welcome. Shubham is asking, is there any early bird offer for this November batch? Yes, it is already going on. You go to the portal and you will see it. Okay, there is a early bird offer is going on. And if you have any problem, reach out to me on the LinkedIn, search Deepak Goel Azure, and you will easily find me. Okay, so you can easily reach out to me on the LinkedIn. So if you're not following me yet, what I can say is, 1 minute. So and this show, you come down here, discard, you come down onto this LinkedIn. This is my profile, Deepak Goel. You can find me on the LinkedIn. Here it's loading up. I'm sorry. I think you all, many of you are already following me. If you're not following me, you can find me here on this LinkedIn, and I will try to help you to answer all of your questions. So whatever the questions here you have, you can put down all those questions on my message. I have an open messages, so anybody can DM me. So if you have any queries also, you can go down and put down under the message in the LinkedIn. And if you can go, if you're liking all this, you can always go and put the recommendation as well. So you can give the recommendation. In for giving the recommendation, you might need to have a connection request to me. So if you want to add, give a connection request, please, whenever you send a connection request to me, always and always, not to me, to anyone you send a request, always add a note or put a message around it. Because if you can see on my network, I'm sorry, I should not have to show it, but there are 11,000 requests are pending. So it's difficult to identify who your request. It get lost somewhere here and there. So please, if you are doing that, please go ahead and put a message, so that I generally see all those message things, and first I accept all those requests which is having some message. Okay, because accepting all this require a lot of time, so it's tough to accept all them. But if you messages out there, we can clearly understand, okay, this is the someone who is looking for some specific thing. Okay, so please follow me on the LinkedIn and follow this channel, and if no questions left, we can call it a day. Saurav has a one question. Service, what is this question? We are going to implement project from the scratch. Yes, there is an end-to-end project will be there. Satish, I have a 10 years of experience in QA and currently have a gap of 2 years due to the personal reasons. If I learn this data fundamental as an additional skill, will it be beneficial? Please let me know. Yes. the- See, if you just want to continue in the data, sorry, in the QA side, then this completely makes sense to add the cloud. It will be completely a good addition. Ashish is asking, hi Deepak. First of all, thank you so much for your time and such a wonderful session. What is the cost of Azure AZ 900 certification? Certification cost, I think, is Microsoft takes this certification cost for Indians in Indian rupees. It is, last time when I see, was 4,800, and for the outside India, it's $160 or something like that. Okay. Salil is asking, please accept my LinkedIn request. Salil, send me a message hi or something like that, because it will be tough, because for searching is not allowed in the in the list of invitations. So I cannot go to that specific page and find you. That will be difficult. So if you just put down the message hi or something, and I will try to accept. Okay. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you. Now, next session we will have it on the Tuesday, because we're following only on the weekdays. So today is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday we don't have session, and next session is on Tuesday. So thank you for joining in. We'll see you on the Tuesday. Thanks. Till then, goodbye. Keep learning.